everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for May 26th, 2011.
Kicking it off and off the press. We're checking out the new Torchwood Miracle Day trailer that we can't really watch because we live in Canada.
See, before it was done by the BBC, which means we couldn't see it because we weren't in the UK.
Yeah.
Now it's done by Stars, so it means we can't see it because we're not in the US. So really there's no Torchwood love for anyone but... Yeah, I don't know.
But the country in which the thing is filmed in.
Yeah, so hopefully exciting. If we get to see it, we'll tell you about it.
Dave and I are also bringing you a review of the Tron Legacy Reconfigured remix album.
Yes, which we liked a lot better, on the whole. Dave's got part 2 from last week. He's talking about Dr. McNinja again, but this time part 2, Night Powers.
In Tech Insight, we're checking out the new updates to Windows Phone 7. They look fairly impressive.
It made me want a Windows Phone, which I believe I've said many times I never would. So stay tuned for those. Then we're going to Lab Mad Science. Sean's telling us about NASA's unveiled their new spaceship. It's going to look a lot like something you've seen before.
Possibly the old spaceship.
Maybe.
In Behind the Lens this week, we are bringing you a review of the ever-gorgeous Fuji X100. Our thoughts and opinions on this camera on the whole. We're not doing it in studio. We went on the street because you can't talk about a street camera without taking some street photos.
So we did that for you.
And in Lull of the Week this week, we're bringing you Drunk Kitchen.
Yeah, it was kind of a Reddit fad over the last week or so, maybe a week and a half.
It's a cute girl who gets drunk and then tries to make food, and the things that happen in that attempt.
Food.
And without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
So it's been a pretty disappointing week this week.
Kinda.
And Off the Press. I'm going to start with some...
It's kind of like misfire, blank shell, misfire,
Yep.
Anyway.
Disappointment,
Yeah.
terrible intro, disappointment, you know. So we're going to start things off with Torchwood Miracle Day trailers.
Yes.
So it's really exciting. Like 3 or 4 trailers have been released in the last week and a half or so. None of them available in Canada.
Yeah. I went looking for them.
Or the UK, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But I went looking for them. I went looking for them in YouTube. I went looking for them on the internet. I went looking for... Couldn't find a blessed thing. I found a bunch of really awful fan-made trailers.
Yep. Mostly,
So-
probably made by 12-year-old girls. The funny
John
thing is...
Barrowman is gay.
Funny thing is, even on the official website, you know, you click play video and it says, oh, this video's been taken down. It's like,
Yeah.
alright, cool.
Yeah.
So until we can actually watch these trailers, I'm just about
Yeah.
as excited as I was before. Which was pretty excited.
Yeah, that's... I'm merely pretty excited.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So moving on to some
No.
good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it. We talked about the Wonder Woman TV show that NBC was shooting a pilot for.
Yep.
It's been canned.
Yes.
But a picture has come out with Wonder Woman wearing the hot shorts that all the fanboys were clamoring for.
Yep.
Not excited.
Which I'm kind of glad that they didn't
I'm
make
really
it.
glad they didn't do it. It's like, oh, you actually tried it. Good for you for listening to the fans, but
Yeah.
good God.
It's nice to sort of say, okay, you know what? We listened to you, but
Yeah.
you're still wrong.
Yeah.
I was saying to Sam earlier, I'm kind of glad, especially after having seen that picture,
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad the show didn't get picked up. I just don't think they have the concept nailed down in terms of look. So much of Wonder Woman is really based on her look.
Exactly. A
I-
look that works on comics, but not
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
eh.
I mean, really, take the Alex Ross outfit out of Kingdom Come. Maybe that would work. Anyway, it's gone.
Yep.
I was apprehensive, and I kind of breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
So, yay.
All right, and now Quinn and Dave are going to review Tron Legacy Reconfigured. We're going to clap them in.
Magics. Dave, you can stop holding your hands like that now.
I was trying to do the gravity thing between two. Forget it.
Anyway, we were up here a while back.
Yes, yeah.
In the November timeframe, I believe.
Around there, yeah, because it was about a month before the movie came out, and they
Yeah.
released the soundtrack for
Tron
Tron
Legacy.
Legacy.
And, you know, we liked the soundtrack.
Yep.
But we felt it was a bit of a bait and switch because
Yeah.
they released it with the Rezzed as the title track, and
Yeah, very much.
And we
very much
expected
so.
a sort of more Daft Punk, more electronic album, and it was mostly orchestral. Not that it was bad.
No, it was
We
still a
both
good
liked
soundtrack.
it, but we both were
and
not
I-
expecting what it was.
I enjoyed it. I enjoy it more as it goes on as well.
For sure.
It's still no Alive 2007.
No.
But it was still a good soundtrack and a decent Daft Punk album.
So back in April, we missed this one by a little bit. Back in April, they announced Tron Legacy Reconfigured.
Yeah, on Twitter, people were going, "Oh my God, it's amazing! Holy crap, you have to listen to this!" Rushed out to iTunes, nothing. Went to, and they were like, "You have to go to this website," and I went to the website, and I needed a credit card, which I don't have, and I was very sad. But now Quinn got it. I got to listen to it, and apparently I can now get it
On
on
iTunes.
iTunes.
So the big thing for this one is basically it is a remix album. But what's interesting about it is the roster of people that are remixing on here. You've got Moby, you've got Cascade, you've got Paul Oakenfold, you've got Avicii, you've got M83, you've got the Crystal Method.
getting little bumps.
They've really put an all-star lineup in here, and
absolutely.
because of that, the album is really, really solid.
Yeah.
Each track is good, each track is different, and each track does a good job at taking original concepts from the songs that they're remixing and then twisting them into each DJ's own perceptions and musical style.
All beef, no filler.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with this album.
It's a really solid album. I mean, the way I was kind of equating it is if you ever liked the Matrix soundtracks. The Matrix soundtracks were kind of a split between orchestral music and sort of dance electronic music. And if you were someone who liked the orchestral side of the Matrix soundtracks better, you're probably going to be happier with the original Tron Legacy soundtrack. If you were someone who liked the dance songs better, you're probably going to like the Reconfigured album better.
Yeah.
So for us, we both said, you know, the orchestral soundtrack was good, but we really wanted something more Daft Punk, more electronic.
I want something beepity boopity.
And this really fills the void.
Yeah. The thing is, it's hard though. Like there's a lot of strength to this one,
For sure.
to this whole soundtrack. It's not. I said beepity boopity, but it's not just electronic synthesizer stuff. It's really cool. I mean, they've kept the flavor of the original songs, and really made something that I'm going to be listening to Reconfigured a lot more than I'll be listening to the original soundtrack.
Well, what's interesting is their choice of DJs really helps spice up the music, because you have people like the Glitch Mob and Boys Noise who are more of a click track beat breakbeat kind of DJs, and then you have people like Avicii and Cascade who are more vocal trance house music. So because you have, you know, varying types of styles, you have varying styles of the remixes as well. So you're going to get some stuff that's very electronic and Tron-like and things like that, and then things that are a little bit more trancey, and then you've got people like Moby and Paul Oakenfold, which are a little bit more grandiose in their edits and stuff like that. So it's really a wide range of music. But Scott made a good point that album really wouldn't have made any sense in the movie. There probably would have been certain songs and certain parts of songs that you could have fit into the movie, but on a whole, it's not a representation of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the original soundtrack is. The original soundtrack, you can listen to that and you can go, oh yeah, this is this scene and this is this scene, and you can re-envision. But when you listen to this remix album, you go, oh, I know what that song is, but it doesn't make me specifically think of that scene anymore. And I don't think it would have worked as well had it only existed in this remix form and not the original orchestral sort of version.
I think one of the greatest compliments I can pay to this soundtrack is, I was talking to Quinn earlier, and it was, you know what, this makes me want to own a better sound system for my car.
For sure.
So I mean, I give this an absolute thumbs up.
Absolutely. I think it's a really, really solid album. There's no songs that you're like, this is okay. Everything really is good on it.
Yeah.
And if you did leave the original Tron soundtrack feeling a little let down that it wasn't electronic enough, I think this will be what you're looking for in a soundtrack.
It's like the songs start at very good and go up from there.
For sure. All right, and through the magic of the internet, we're going to bring Sam back so that Dave and Sam can talk to you about this week's new releases.
All right, now we're getting on to this week's new releases. We are starting with Kung Fu Panda 2.
And also in theaters this week, The Hangover Part 2.
Which I'm looking forward to that.
I haven't seen the first one.
I'm a glutton
Not
for-
really my style of comedy.
It's
so.
no. It's I know Sam likes a little bit, and anyway. On to Blu-ray and a DVD,
Yep, we have I Am Number 4.
which I heard nothing good about.
Except for the last 10 minutes, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And anyway.
not worth it.
Romeo and Juliet. Didn't see it in the theater. Won't see it on DVD.
Nope. And in video games this week, we have Dirt 3 for PS3 and 360.
Kung Fu Panda 2 for the PS3 and the 360.
Yep. And Sims 3 Generations. It's an expansion pack for the Sims 3 for PC.
Never played Sims.
You're kind of missing out.
Am I really?
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think... if I'm wrong, if you guys want to tell me, Dave, you're wrong, go and check out some Sims now. And where should I start? Should I start with the first one?
No, Sims 3.
Just go 3?
Yeah.
Just go right to 3?
It's the exact... It's like buying a Pokemon game. Which one do you buy? Pick the newest one. Why not, you know? And...
Yeah. You can let me know.
Yeah.
Send me a note. Send me a note. Say, Dave, send a note to gutters at
Dave at almostfridayshow.com.
possibly.
Yep. And with that, we're going on to the gutters.
Hi everyone, welcome to another week of From the Gutters. This week I'm going to be reviewing the second half of The Adventures of Dr. McNinja, Night Moves. I read the second half, clear-minded, everything, and I was again kind of underwhelmed. It was a mediocre book, in my opinion. The story continues on with Dr. McNinja going on to fight the tennis doomsday machine, and then that story ends. I won't tell you about the ending to that, because it's a bit of a spoiler. It kind of ruins the whole point of the whole thing. And then it goes on to the next story, where he gets a motorcycle. He's like, I need a motorcycle. And he gets a motorcycle, and it goes on with his adventures with the motorcycle. And that story ends. And again, I won't get into it, because it's all very spoilery. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone. But there's an added section in the back, a black and white section, not colored, where he gets thrown into Canada. The artwork really improved with this, the final little add-in, which I found very weird. But all in all, this book is mediocre. It's written and illustrated by Christopher Hastings. I caught a lot of flack last week. After I finished my review, I walked out into the green room, and the pod people kind of tore into me. And I got a phone call today at work about someone who disagreed with me about my review on it last week. I have not come across anyone yet who's agreed with me about this. I understand where everyone is coming from. My simple point about all of this is I was doing a review of a trade paperback. I was not doing a review of a webcomic. I'm sure it was a stellar webcomic, but as a trade paperback, it just does not hold up. I'm going to give this book C-, all said and done. At $19.99, it really needs to be a better book. That's it this week from the Gutters. I'm Dave.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Insight for this week. It's kind of interesting.
Not a bad week compared to last week where we had to talk about server centers and things like that. This week, first up, Windows Phone 7. They just had a press conference earlier this week about their Mango update. I don't know.
They're kind of doing an Android thing.
Yeah,
They're taking, instead of dessert, now it's food.
I don't
like
know.
Fruits.
Tropical fruit.
Yeah, so they're going the tropical angle. I don't know. Do what you want, Microsoft. So his Balmerness is claiming that there's over 500 new features in Windows Phone Mango, which you're going to see, they said, fall. Some people are thinking probably August timeframe.
Yeah.
So that's not right now, which is probably not good, because by fall you're going to see iOS 5, probably another Android rev, so...
The unfortunate thing is they've kind of come out and said, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And now everyone else is going to go, those are good ideas.
Yeah, so...
We should probably tack into that.
But that's the Microsoft way, right?
Yeah.
So ignore that for now. We'll look at that in August when everything's on the table. We're just going to tell you about the rundown of some of the really cool stuff that's coming in Windows Phone 7 Mango. So finally, multitasking's here. Now, they're claiming it's some new hybrid of the... No, it's pretty much the way iOS does it. It's pretty much the way Android... Well, Android's a little some Android.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the way that Apple does it. It'll hide your app, and it's it's there, but it's kind of cached. It's not really running.
Yeah,
and
so you still have to go in and close it if you need to.
And there's going to be it switches kind of like with those cards, like in very similar to WebOS.
Okay.
And they're again going to allow some code to run in the background. They weren't very specific about what that is, so it might be exactly what Apple's offering. It might be that plus a tiny bit, but it's not going to be as open as, say, BlackBerry, where you can continually run apps in the background, like on all those really lame Playbook commercials. So that's pretty cool. Something they needed.
Yeah.
Not a cool feature, but they needed it. Cool features. Now, I told you about the messaging integration.
And this was, I really like this.
Now, this was pretty cool. So this is not something, Quinn did point out that WebOS has kind of been approaching this. I think this is probably a little more tight-knit than what WebOS had, merely because we're further in with Twitter and Facebook integration, things like that. So in Windows Phone 7, Twitter's integrated, Facebook's integrated, MSN, all those different networks are integrated. There's a lot more. I don't know what they all are.
But either way, the practical
Yeah.
upshot is that if Scotty were to tweet to me with his Windows phone, and then or you said Facebook, for instance, send a message to me on Facebook, it's all integrated on his phone.
Yeah, so basically what they're doing is they're grouping by person now. Now, this is an option. You don't have to do it this way. But if I want to follow Sean, under Sean, it'll show me all his tweets. It'll show me all his emails. It'll show me all his Facebook posts, all his MySpace posts. So I can follow Sean's stuff as opposed to having to follow an entire network. Or I can follow a group of people. I can follow all the other podcasters here at Almost Friday Show and see just their Twitter posts with their emails from them and things like that. So
Which
it
is
kind
really
of
quite awesome.
it makes you use the network as opposed to having to, these are the people I follow on Facebook and I scroll or whatever. So
What it does is it cuts down on the wading through the crap.
Yeah.
I don't have many followers on Twitter. And I don't follow that many people, but really, there's some people where it's
There are
like,
some
I don't need to see
well,
your
and
stuff.
there's some people who do follow tons of people, so this would be
Yeah.
a good way to follow the core people you want to follow
Yeah.
and see these are the people I'm emailing every day, these are the people I'm texting, things like that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can do this new communication crossover. So if I send you a text, you send me back a text, I see that in the same window where I can now send you a Facebook message.
Okay.
Or I can send you a tweet, or I can send you an email, and it's all kind of integrated like Facebook messaging was supposed to be, but isn't. Which I think is good if you have a Windows phone, but probably confusing if you're on the receiving end.
I think on the receiving end, yeah, just because you'd receive your tweet, and then you receive your email from Facebook saying you've got a message.
Yeah, so
And
it's
then-
kind of if everyone had Windows Phone, great.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the following the person thing is really cool.
Yeah, that's a really neat way of
Yeah.
of just separating things out.
Yeah, a couple more cool things. Bing integration is huge.
Which
Pile
is
of new features.
really good for that.
Yeah, pile of new features. Now this is all baked into the OS. There's no app like Google on iOS. Not way better than iOS's search now.
Yeah.
But basically what you've been able to do, so there's picture search. They're not calling it that, I don't remember what they call it, but if I take a picture of a book, just the book cover, it'll search for the book, it'll show me reviews of the book, it'll show me where I can buy the book, the price of the book, stores near me that sell the book. All in one kind of just, I don't have to go look for it, it's all there
Yeah.
after I take the picture and search for this book. So that's kind of cool. It also has integration, so when I see the book, I'll have an option, if I have the Kindle app installed, say, it could be the Kobo app or whatever, to click through and then it'll bring up that book in the Kindle app. Then I can buy it, now I'm reading the book. So if
like
I'm at a
that.
bookstore, click, bam, I bought the book and I'm reading it on my Windows phone. So that's really cool. They're boasting really fast text translation.
Okay.
Click, translate German to English.
You were saying also, probably jumping ahead a bit, but even the email has been changed because it was
Yeah.
pretty crappy before.
Yes, well, I think it still looks the same.
Wow.
But those are your basic Bing search features. I mean, there's a few other cool things, but Bing's really, really integrated, which is really different than... It's kind of almost where Android should be,
Okay.
but nothing like iOS. Search is compared, like, this is going to make a difference for Windows Phone in terms of usability. Search is integrated into Bing, with Bing and Windows Phone 7, whereas in iOS you have to have 10 apps,
Yeah.
or you have to go to Safari, or something like that. Or you end up in Safari. You're not necessarily going to end up there. You can search and then go directly to an app. You're never actually in Internet Explorer.
That's really cool.
So they did update the email a little bit. You can group, so there is a combined inbox now, which they didn't have before. And you can actually do groupings from what I understand. So you can combine, say, your home inboxes and keep your work inbox separate.
Okay.
Which you can't do in iOS. And you can still view all your separate emails, but you can't have one combined and then leave one out of that combination.
See, with the amount of email addresses I have, that would be
Yeah.
really useful.
I would like that. Still not a big fan of email on the Windows
Yeah.
phone. But that's a really cool feature. Other than that, really small things. We're going to see it trickle out. They didn't release everything, which is probably smart.
Yeah.
So
They did some key items that
they
are
released
really
this Bing
interesting.
stuff, which is the really cool stuff, probably because they know Apple won't do it.
Yeah.
And Google can't do it.
Yeah.
Because of the fragmentation. So maybe, but there should be more stuff. Other little things, better Office integration, better Internet Explorer performance, apparently.
But everyone boasts that when they start releasing updates.
Obviously, yeah. Better integration with the cloud services.
See, that's something I want to see.
Yeah.
Because we were discussing this just before. In general, the cloud, like Microsoft's cloud tech, is good,
Hard to use.
but very hard to use.
Once
Like,
you're using it, great, awesome. You pay nothing. It's really good. Really hard to figure out what you should use and when you should use it and how to use it.
I've spent, like we were discussing, like
Yeah.
we both spent almost an hour
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do Google or how to do Microsoft Sync service.
Yeah.
was
So
like-
hopefully that should be better integrated in your phone
Yeah.
with Office, so you can store your documents, so you don't have to store them on the phone.
Oh, that'd be neat. OneNote integration would
yep.
be great for that.
So, and Xbox Live's been revamped, but there's not a pile of details about that. But I do like that integration where you carry over your gamer ID and things like that. So, Windows Phone 7 is looking really cool. When Mango comes out, I really want to go play with it again, because I think that I really want to play with this Bing integration. It looks really promising. So, keep your eye on Windows Phone. It's actually getting more exciting than I had predicted it would.
yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, small bit of Apple news, just 'cause that's how we roll. But it's not in Apple's favor this week.
No, this is interesting.
So Apple launched their Mac App Store with the last update of 10.6.7 or whatever it was. It's actually pretty successful. Really easy to find the apps. Even I turned on to it a little bit, even though I was a big hater at first. Now Amazon, who has a store for everything now. I mean, they've got an Android app store. They've got an MP3 store. They sell DVDs. They sell toilet paper.
they sell whatever
everything.
they sell whatever you need.
Yeah, so they're actually selling. They have a Mac download store. I think they're calling it now,
That's interesting.
because they can't use App Store. So basically, it's very similar, web-based, obviously.
Yeah.
Database of Mac apps. There's some free ones in there.
Okay.
Lots of paid apps. You got Photoshops in there. Lightroom's in there. Things like that. Office is in there.
Is this digital distribution or is it going to
Yep,
be
digital distribution.
It is digital
It's
distribution.
the download
Okay.
store.
Okay.
So you go on, pay. If you already have an Amazon account, one less account to have.
Awesome.
Download, install, kind of thing. Now, if you do want to check it out, you get a free download of some little game, nothing too exciting, and you get $5 off your first pay download, which isn't too bad. Now, I don't expect to see Apple products in there. So
Yeah.
you're probably not going to see things like Final Cut. You're not going to see your things like
I think this is
iWork.
really, this is going to be something more along the lines of how Amazon was always used to be anyway.
Yeah.
You used to be able to go on and find your Photoshop for Mac anyway on Amazon.
but now you
So-
don't have to get the disc.
Yeah.
So
Which
cool
is still
alternative.
really good, though.
I don't know that this is going to be a big hit, but I mean Amazon's doing a lot of cool things lately, especially with Kindle and that. So smart people running that company.
Yep.
Next up, Google had a wallet announcement today.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you heard about this. It's a little.
read a little bit. It's,
So I don't know how you feel about having Google in your wallet as well as on your phone and in your computer and really everywhere now.
To be honest, I really am kind of.
It's a little, yeah. I'm not too stoked about it either.
I'm not a total security nut, but when it comes to near field,
It's a lot of fingers and a lot of pots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When Google comes out and says, yeah, so not only do we have your phone, like you said, and with near field communication coming out, are you going to be able to do the old doot? Not only when you're in your computer.
Yeah, it's
To your point,
a little too much.
yeah, it's getting to the point now. It's getting almost ridiculous, and it's getting very scary.
But if you're into that kind of thing, you want to try it out. So there's this new, it's called Google Wallet. It's going to be an app. Right now, it's just Android. I wouldn't be surprised if Google rolled into other things, depending on what Apple does. I mean, there's no NFC in Apple's phones.
Yes.
There's no NFC in Windows phones, so who knows? So, and in fact, the only phone that supports it is the Nexus S, which is Google's baby phone. So no surprise
Yeah,
there.
I was going to say, no surprise.
But now be ready to see it on a lot of Android phones because Google supports it. So basically, the idea is you register your credit card with Google Wallet.
Okay.
And it has to be a MasterCard.
Okay.
And right now it has to be from Citibank. No other banks are participating at the moment. And in fact, only Sprint is participating as a carrier in the States.
Oh, okay.
So they really launched this as very limited participation on a lot of sides. But the cool thing is, the thing that was holding all this NFC stuff back was now everyone's got to go get NFC Google Wallet payment swipers, right?
Yeah.
This uses MasterCard PayPass.
Which is really good, because
Yeah.
that means integration is going to be a lot quicker.
And it means it's, MasterCard security branding on there.
Yep.
And, MasterCard's a big, reputable credit card company, so there's some backing there. Now, basically the idea is your card's registered in your phone, you swipe, it pays. Right now it's only being tested in New York, San Francisco.
Okay.
You have to have an XSS. You have to have a Citibank MasterCard. Or you can buy a Google Master Pay card. So it's like those gift card MasterCards.
Oh, okay.
But through Google, which is fine. I mean, because you can pay that with your Visa.
I was going
or
to say,
whatever.
you see, I would use something like that, because
Yeah.
that kind of adds another layer of protection.
Yeah. Or you could use your Google account, which gives you that other, and you can pay PayPal, things like
Yeah.
that. So if you want to try it out, and you live in New York, and you have an XSS,
Do us a favor, actually, get out there, try it,
I think it'll be flawed. I mean,
and tell us.
it's just your MasterCard chip on the back of your phone. Tape your card to your phone. Problem solved.
Yeah.
But if that's your thing, it's available. It should be rolled out U.S. wide by the end of the summer,
That's actually pretty soon.
which is good. I think they're just making sure there's no foibles.
Yeah, that's
once
actually...
it starts going to lots of people, and hopefully we see more banks getting involved. Otherwise, no one's going to get on that.
I was going to say, Citibank is a really great bank, but everybody needs to get... Because if it's going to be MasterCard...
It's got to be everybody.
Yeah,
everyone's
everyone's going to be there.
Yeah, so,
So-
we'll follow. Well, probably not, because it's never
Yeah.
coming to Canada. So who cares?
Yeah.
Last but not least, little Twitter news.
So they bought TweetDeck?
Twitter bought TweetDeck for somewhere between $40 to $50 million. About $1 million. That's all things D. Put that out there.
Okay.
Twitter did confirm it, so it is official. The only reason I put this in here is because Twitter's buying up a lot of those little guy clients, like we talked about 3 or 4 times on the show.
I was going to say, we talked about this a few times.
They bought Tweety on iPhone, which is now the official Twitter app. Now TweetDeck, who knows what's going to happen to that? I know TweetDeck started on the desktop app, and it's still a really good desktop app. I'm not a huge fan of their iPhone app, but I know a lot of people do use it, so I don't know what they're going to do with it. They're not. I hope they don't get rid of it.
I don't think they will. I mean, I think Twitter's kind of trying to be smart about this and saying, you know what, there's a lot of great developers out there who are saying, no, we're going to make a Twitter app. Okay, fine. But if we buy you out, rebrand it, but all that means is if you pay for the Twitter app, which I think some pay,
Some of them, yeah.
there's a few. It just means that now Twitter is able to actually gain from that.
Well, see, that's the thing is that I'm on 2 fields of this because one, Twitter's killing out the little guy here. And they're probably making money off their app through whether it's advertisement or charging for it or whatever.
That's true.
The company was probably making money, but at the same time, Twitter could have just ripped off what they were doing. And there's nothing that little company could have done. So they did do the right thing in the tech business world and say, look, I'd like to buy you because we're interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of mum on the issue. I mean, I stopped liking TweetDeck a while ago. But it is Twitter buying up those, like we said it's happening. So
They're just going to slowly accumulate all the
we'll
little
see what
guys.
happens. But I mean, they bought the search engines. They buying probably good moves, but they need to start making money somewhere.
I was going to
So
say, like, we
maybe
haven't
that's their
seen-
idea, like you were saying. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I can make money off this. Probably not a lot, but you know.
But they might be able to.
But somebody's $40 million richer, so that's always good.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. So, like usual, you ready to do some science this week?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool. So, kicking it off, no robots. Let's just put that out right now. No robots, no mechanical arms or legs, no medical devices go inside the body whatsoever. We're coming to you with a brand new product, but not quite. So,
No.
anyway, turns out, we're going to start with some physics news.
All right.
They've kind of figured out the shape of electrons.
They're round, aren't they?
You'd think that, but they're round-ish.
Almost round.
They're nearly a perfect sphere. It's, I believe, 0.0... You know what? Just put 26 zeros after a decimal point.
And then a 1
And then a
after that.
1. That's how close they are to perfect spherical
All
shape.
right.
They're actually kind of egg-shaped.
Slightly.
Yeah. So, they kind of figured this one out just because they were like, well, if it was any kind of other shape, it would cause some sort of wobble.
Yep, it wouldn't spin properly.
Yeah. And it turns out they were able to use a bunch, I believe it was a lot of high-powered lasers,
Yep.
and also with the LHC, I believe they found a little bit of this. They were able to find and corroborate all of this together to show that they're actually roundish. Because, well, I mean, they're not perfectly spherical because of the way they move.
Exactly.
But here's my thing. We now have seen the electron, right? We've somehow kind of broken down a little bit of the uncertainty principle to say, hey, look, this cloud that apparently electrons live in, that they are part of, well, we know they're round now. Roundish now.
Yep.
They're not, oval or perfectly spherical.
Or squished or...
So really, the reason why I started this one off is because it's kind of like, neat, so they're round. We've been drawing them that way forever.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Glad to see we're putting a lot of
So
grad
now
money.
you can't draw them perfectly round. They're round-ish.
Yep, you gotta kind of make egg shapes. Just slight eggs.
Very slight.
Anyway, on to some bigger news.
All right.
Well, bigger-ish news.
Bigger?
Bigger.
Physically bigger?
Yeah,
Like spaceship size bigger?
much bigger.
All right.
So, NASA has unveiled their new spacecraft. It's...
A blast from the past.
Yeah, it's
pun
new-ish.
intended.
We're getting a lot of ishes. It's new-ish.
Newish.
Yeah. So the whole idea is they've scrapped the space shuttles.
Yep.
We've all known that. They're going to the museums now. And they've created the... what was it called? Damn if I can remember. It's the multi-purpose capsule vehicle. Or something like that.
Hopefully they come up with a better, more catchy name for that.
Yeah, it's
'cause
pretty lame.
You can't really beat Space Shuttle.
No.
So,
In this case, though, what they're doing is they're kind of going back to the old ways of the Apollo missions, as Scott definitely likes to point out about that.
Yeah.
They basically took a capsule, took a rocket, and went and said, all right, now we're going to launch her. So basically you put your astronauts inside the capsule, you'll launch them.
This new capsule seats 4.
Yeah, it seats 4, however, it doesn't carry as much equipment. So you're looking at just like before. You're looking at essentially everything is around you, and you have 4 people in a tight, confined area, but you can't carry things to and from, like the space station. So we've kind of got an interesting conundrum there.
Yeah.
No real word on its complete function. Apparently this was scrapped, though, the idea, and then brought back to life because it was the most viable option at the time.
Yeah, they're looking for cost savings at this
Exactly.
point,
So they've kind of gone back to the old method, which is kind of cool because it did work. The space shuttle worked, but they're getting old. The technology was getting outdated. But
I believe I read in the article, the IO9 article, that they went with this design because it was more efficient taking off and re-entering.
Yeah,
So,
because you're looking at, instead of having a great big thing like that, now you're looking at something thin.
Exactly.
So it should have a little bit of less drag, and it should probably break the sound barrier a lot easier. So you're looking at less fuel, you're looking at all sorts of benefits. It just kind of looks funky. Which, it's kind of cool. That's
sure.
NASA for you.
Rename it, NASA. Come on.
Yeah, please. MPCV or MCPV, whatever the hell you called it. Last story, though. We are going to blast through these really quickly. Decon Gel.
This is really cool.
Yeah, anybody who's played Portal 2, you are going to know what I mean when I say repulsive gel. Looks kind of like that, except it doesn't make you bounce.
No.
This stuff's really neat.
It does do a hell of a good job at cleaning things, though.
Yeah, it was an experiment. That was actually an accident. I believe it was a Hawaiian research firm.
Yeah.
The lead researcher who was in charge of this project, they didn't really say what it was for beforehand, spilt some of this chemical onto the floor, left it, came back in the morning, picked it up, and noticed the floor was exceptionally clean. Like, really, really, really clean.
Yeah.
Clean to the point of, we can't even scrub it this clean. Even if we wax the floor, we can't get it that clean. So
then they thought to themselves, I wonder what we can do with this. And probably through months and months of testing, they have sent 100 5-gallon jugs of this to Japan to help clean up the radioactive stuff there.
From Fukushima.
Yeah.
And this is a really great idea, because this is basically a face mask, like cosmetic stuff. You put it on, whatever.
Yeah, you put it on, wait for it to dry, and then you peel it off, and you see all the gross stuff on it, right?
Exactly. And this is really, really cool, because with conventional methods of actually decontaminating radioactive areas.
It's basically using soap and water and scrubbing.
Yep. You get in there with steel wool or with, scrub brushes.
Whatever scrubbing stuff you want to use.
And you just scrub it off. The only thing is, though, then it gets into the water, it gets into your wastewater, then it gets everywhere else because it's going away from the area.
Because it's water.
Whereas with this, it will capture and hold absolutely anything it touches that is not the parent material.
Basically anything that's not nailed down.
Yeah. So if you have concrete and you throw it on there, all the dust and crap that's been on there forever is going to come off.
Yep.
It's really neat stuff. We actually priced it out because it is commercially available. It's, I believe, $160 for a gallon of this stuff, which does 50 to 100 square feet.
Yeah.
So I've got a floor that is less than that. I would like to try cleaning it with this. However, I don't know if we can get it here in Canada.
Probably not. There could be some shipping issues with that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But just the same, so that kind of wraps it up for science. It's a short week, kind of short mentions. So we know that electrons are round-ish. We know that NASA's got a new-ish space design, and we know that they have a way of cleaning up nuclear
Which is
mess.
sort of a face
Mask-ish
mask
thing.
for stuff.
Yeah. So that wraps it up this week.
Yep.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a special Behind the Lens. We're down here in Ottawa's Byward Market because we're talking about a special camera that can't just be shown in studio, and that is the very special Fuji X100. Now this camera is very much a street camera, and that's why we've decided to come down here to what is arguably the heart of Ottawa to show you what it's like to operate this camera and use it out in a street environment, because honestly, we've played with it a bunch, and that's really where this camera suits best. So why don't you follow along with us, and we'll check out some scenery. So the first thing to talk about this camera is really its looks, because that's what's bringing all the attention to this. It's a camera that we haven't really seen anything in digital like this really ever. It's a rangefinder style camera, and if you don't know what rangefinder means, that means that you're looking through a window on the side as opposed to through the lens. Now most traditional SLRs, when you're looking through the viewfinder, you're looking through the lens of the camera, so you're seeing exactly what the lens sees. Whereas a rangefinder, although you're not seeing exactly what the lens sees, you gain some advantages from it. And what that is that you can typically see outside of the frame of your picture, and that allows you to spend more time considering your composition and seeing the elements that are happening around your picture to possibly wait for the right moment in time where all of the elements of your photo are going to click. So that's really the interesting thing about this camera, is that we are looking at a full-size digital SLR sensor. It's an APS-C size sensor with a 35mm equivalent f2.0 lens, but unlike DSLRs, we're not shooting the traditional way. So you're looking through that viewfinder and you can see through it, but it's not giving you an exact representation of the image that you're taking. So you have to get a little bit used to it, because unfortunately it's not a perfect system, and I've found that in shooting with it, the framing, although it does give you an example of what you're going to get, is never accurate. And I don't quite understand why, because they give you this box and you assume that your picture is going to be in that box, and then often it's not quite in that box. You might have more space horizontally, vertically, and it kind of shifts image by image. Now, what's interesting about the X100's viewfinder is that it's using a hybrid electronic optical system. So what that allows it to do is you're looking through a glass prism, but it's overlaying digital information. So you're seeing that framing box, and it can move around and it can resize, which makes me wonder even more why I don't get the image I see in that box. But more on that later. For now, we're going to get out there and we're going to start shooting some pictures, and we'll talk a little bit about what's really most important with this camera, which is image quality. So let's talk about image quality, because if you've read anything about the X100 on the internet, you probably know that it has some issues in actually using the camera. So if it's got all these issues using the camera, is it worth buying? Well, that really comes down to image quality. And the X100 is no slouch in this department. It has a 12 megapixel CCD sensor, but what's interesting about the sensor is that it's using their EXR technology, which they've employed in their point-and-shoots before, but it helps to improve dynamic range and color by the way in which it handles all the light and color coming in. Now, what's interesting about the X100 is that because it has a fixed lens, it has a lens that's been matched identically for the sensor. Now, what they have put in here is a 23mm lens, which in APS-C size formatting is a 35mm equivalent. And it's also an f2.0, so it's quite bright. But because it's designed specifically for this camera, it's also very sharp. You get very little chromatic aberration at f2.0, and the scenes are very crisp and clear at any kind of infinity focus range. Now, what's interesting about this camera is that they've removed the anti-aliasing filter from the sensor itself. Now, this is something that's typically found in most SLRs, and what it's designed to do is help to reduce artifacting that you get in high contrast scenes. And you can get interesting unwanted effects in areas that have a lot of information in lateral lines, like fences or barbed wire or that kind of thing. So they've decided to remove it, and even though they've removed it, it doesn't seem to be much of an issue, and it really helps to improve the overall sharpness and clarity of the photos. So all foibles aside, this thing does have quite good image quality. And I think that's really the most important thing to talk about, because now I'm going to talk about what I don't like about the camera. Alright, so let's talk about some of the issues with the camera, because unfortunately there's a lot of them. The first thing is that it's really slow. It's slow to turn on, it is really annoying to wake up from sleep, and if you're shooting in RAW, it takes about 7.5 decades to actually save the image. And that's with a Class 10 card. Some people on the internet have been saying that if you use an ultra-high speed card, which is a brand new format of SD card that have come out, you'll get a little bit better improvement. But I feel like in today's day and age, with 12 megapixels in RAW, I shouldn't have to use a $200 card in order for my camera to perform properly. And unfortunately, it is a problem. Because if you are trying to do any kind of critical work with it, professionally or otherwise, you're going to find that this slowdown is really not convenient. I took it out today to use on an engagement shoot and found that the focusing was slow and the image saving was slow, and it really didn't allow me to use it in a professional sense. The other problem I have with this camera is that although it does take really good images, it's very hard to control exactly what you're getting with those images. You do have really nice buttons at the top of the camera that allow you to dial in your exposure compensation, your shutter speed, and then you can dial your aperture with a dial on the lens. These are all really nice features, but I find that you don't have a really good sense of what kind of picture you're going to take through the viewfinder when you've put in these settings. Now, we like our GH2 that we shoot video with, and it has a nice functionality where it shows you a preview of what you're going to get. So essentially, it's giving you a live, active image of what that picture is going to be when you take it. And as far as I can tell, the Fuji really doesn't do this. And if it does do it, it doesn't do it well. As I had lots of problems leaving it in automatic mode and it telling me, oh, I'm only going to go to shutter speed 1000, but we're overexposed. And I'm like, if you're at shutter speed 1000, you're overexposed. Why haven't you moved to shutter speed 4000? On top of that, the focusing is problematic. One, it works, but it's slow. Secondly, if you're using it to shoot anything macro, you can't actually use the optical viewfinder to do it. Now, this is an issue that's called parallax error. Now, the reason that is that because when you get so close to an item, this is no longer showing you anything close to what you're actually taking a picture of. So I can understand them, not allowing you to use the focus to its full extent when you're using the optical viewfinder. But unfortunately, there are scenarios where the image I'm taking is very similar to the frame I'm getting, and it just doesn't want to focus close enough. On top of that, if I am using a macro mode or something like that, this camera, although I put it on automatic, will not go into macro mode automatically. This is something we've had on cameras for years. I can pick up any point and shoot, I can point it at something close, and it will go into macro mode. So why does my $1,200 SLR not do that? These are a couple things that bother me. And ultimately, a lot of this could be fixed with firmware upgrades. But as of yet, Fuji has not brought anything out. And ultimately, I'm not someone who wants to sit around and wait for someone to correct their problems in hopes that it's going to make the camera I purchase better. I know lots of people that go, well, this isn't good, but hopefully it'll come out in a firmware update. You can't sit around and hope endlessly that your camera is going to fix the problems that it has because Fuji decides, hey, you know what, we'll do that in a firmware update. So sitting around waiting for the camera to get better, not a great idea. So if the image quality is really good, but the performance features aren't really there, who is this camera for? Well, this camera is specifically for someone who, like myself, comes out to places like this to take pictures. Because what this camera excels at more than anything is flying under the radar. With a camera like this, you're never really in anyone's face. People are going to walk by, they're not necessarily going to know you're going to take a picture. And with a 35mm lens, you've got a fairly wide angle image, so that allows you to shoot from your neck if you want to, or not have to be across the street to get a picture of someone. So because of that, this camera does a really good job at being the right kind of camera for someone who is just out and about taking pictures. I don't want to call it a performance point and shoot because it really isn't. And although it has a fixed lens and you can't change the lens on it, so it's not really an SLR, it's more than a point and shoot in both image quality and performance. And what we haven't talked about is how good it is in low light. And that's really one of the nice things about a street camera, is that you're going to be out taking pictures at all times of the day, and you want to be able to have a camera that even when you're shooting in low light can still keep up with the pictures you want to take. And this thing takes very good images at ISO 1600, ISO 3200. And on top of that, if you are taking pictures with flash, Fuji's cameras have always been really good with flash. They do a really great job of balancing the flash so that you get lots of ambient light in, but you get a nice bit of fill flash. So this really is a camera for the street photographer, someone who's okay with one lens, but a lens that works really well. And someone's okay with image quality if it's not at the quickest speeds, because you're going to be able to get all kinds of pictures that people would normally get really mad at you taking because it doesn't look like a regular camera. Do I recommend the Fuji? Well, I think it's a tough choice to say. For me, I really wanted it, and I really wanted to love it, but the more I shot with it, the more I realized it wasn't the camera I was expecting it to be. However, I don't think that means it's not a good camera. I just think it means it's a camera for a person who knows exactly what they're getting into. And that would be someone who does street photography. So if that's all you do, street photography, then the X100 is a really great option. However, if you're looking for something that's going to help advance your photography skills, I don't think the X100 is the right choice. I hope you enjoyed our review of the X100. Hopefully I didn't break too many hearts in my critical review of the issues this camera has. And believe me, I do love the pictures it takes. I just think that this camera could have been more than Fuji made it be. Hey everybody, welcome to Law of the Week. It's been a while. We've
been,
taken a break from this for quite some time.
Well, there hasn't really been much that I've been like.
There's been lots of
God,
funny things on the internet. We're just really bad at
I've been
looking for
watching.
them.
I've been watching a bunch of old stuff lately, or so.
It's true. We're really suckers for old stuff and rewatching things as opposed to finding new original content.
Yeah.
However, this week it is new original content. There's a funny lady on the internet who thought it would be interesting to get drunk and attempt to make some food. And her show is called Drunk Kitchen. I don't really know what more to tell you. It's drunk food making. But she's kind of like cute and innocent looking, so you're like, it's even funnier because now she's drunk. So
it's
here's
like watching a drunk kitten.
So here's a clip from her episode where she attempts to make brunch.
At brunch, people whine about problems that aren't actually problems. So let's do a little bit of that. This morning the shower was not hot enough. My nails are disgusting. I was tempted to just not buy the clutch. I think Whole Foods has really gone downhill. Right? We're almost done with the first bottle, so we better start to cook. This is getting to be my drunk. Here we go. To assure maximum pancake ability, we bought some pancake mix. Egg, oil, milk, honey. What the fuck? This is just like making pancakes from scratch. So they should call pancake mix flour plus baking powder. By the way, you're still making pancakes from scratch. So don't think you got out of that one, sucker. It'd be a bunch of hyphens.
So, I guess the lesson here is don't mix champagne and pancake making.
Don't mix alcohol and the preparation of food.
Well, I
guess you could probably broaden it to that.
Or copious amounts of alcohol in the preparation of food. You could probably drink a little bit of champagne while making some pancakes, but you probably don't want to drink 2 bottles of champagne while making pancakes. Because then you probably won't end up with pancakes, much like she did.
Which, you know what? If I was going for brunch, I would love for her to prepare it, even if I didn't get to eat it, drunk.
So if you did find that funny, that was episode 6, a clip from episode 6 that we showed you. So there was 5 that are before it, and I'm assuming more to come afterwards because she seems to like drinking and attempting to make food. So and other people find it funny, so she's doing that thing where people on the internet like her, which we've been trying so hard to do, and just keep flying under the radar. Anyway, it's time to wrap up the show. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us via email at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
Or you can reach us on the Twitter, and that is Almost Friday Show.
You shouldn't listen to anything Dave says, because our Twitter account is actually almost_Friday.
I'm bad at info.
We try so hard to get it in there.
No, but it falls out the little bald spot.
Oh, that's what that's happening.
I know, right?
It's just it's the skid marks, and it's yeah. There's a little hole in your head, and it's I get it.
It's like a reverse yarmulke.
I guess. Or maybe that was really the purpose of the yarmulke. Maybe that's why Jewish people are so
I keep
wise.
saying that, right?
Because they put that yarmulke on, and then the information can't escape. It just has to filter back in.
That's why they're so smart.
It's also, but maybe that's also why they say things in a funny language. I don't know. Like everything gets confused in there.
I don't even. I'm only like this much Jewish, so.
Anyway, if you'd like to send us hate mail to explain to us why we've ruined your religion, you can reach us at contact at Almost Friday Show, or you can send us a message at almost_Friday on Twitter. So until next time, Mazel Tov.